An American tourist once asked a Canadian border officer whether they lock the border at night to keep the snow from sneaking in, genuinely imagining Canada as some refrigerated warehouse where someone has to shut the giant freezer door at 10 p.m. or else the whole continent freezes. A confused American in Tokyo asked a local if Japanese people live in tiny anime houses with sliding paper walls because it seems cheaper than real construction, as if the entire country were built by Disney animators working on a budget cut. One American sincerely believed that Germany runs on such strict rules that citizens must apply for a smiling permit and that children take government-issued seriousness exams. Because in his mind, Europe is just a giant bureaucratic dystopia with bratwurst. An American woman visiting France asked if French people avoid showers on purpose so perfume companies don't go out of business. Fully convinced Parisian hygiene is a medieval legend that survived only because Hollywood kept it alive. During a trip to Mexico, an American man asked whether locals ever get tired of wearing sombreros all day and whether they take them off only to sleep, as though the entire country were trapped inside a Taco Bell commercial filmed in 1983. An American once asked a South African whether employees get lion attack leave, because he had convinced himself that business meetings in Africa regularly get interrupted by roaming wildlife like some National Geographic Office special. A tourist from the US and Egypt asked a guide whether the pyramids were built before or after World War II, implying that ancient history only exists if America remembers participating in it. An American asked an Australian if schoolchildren ride kangaroos to class and if the government requires marsupial insurance, because he imagined the continent as one massive zoological circus where zoology doubles as public transit. A man from the US confidently claimed that Russians drink vodka instead of water because the water is permanently frozen, as if the nation is locked inside an eternal deep freezer built by the Cold War. An American girl asked a South Korean why they don't just rename their country, so people stop mixing them up with North Korea, sincerely believing geopolitics works the same way as changing a username on Instagram. An American traveler once insisted that Australians must have filters on all their windows to keep the upside-down air from messing with indoor gravity, fully convinced the Southern Hemisphere runs on inverted physics. One tourist in Japan asked a guide whether people get dizzy living in a place with so many signs I can't read, as if unreadable text causes cultural vertigo. An American visiting Egypt wondered aloud if camels were government-assigned transportation, imagining a DMV where you pick between a sedan, a pickup, or a camel. A visitor in Italy once asked if Italians take turns using the Leaning Tower to dry laundry, convinced the tilt serves a community towel drying purpose. An American tourist in France thought every baguette was regulated by the government, picturing a minister of bread issuing crust mandates. Someone in Spain once asked if flamenco dancers train at special anger schools, believing intensity comes from a national rage curriculum. A visitor in Iceland was shocked that locals don't live in fear of volcanoes, asking, "So, you just stay here anyway?" as if Iceland were a natural disaster waiting room. An American in South Korea believed citizens get mandatory K-pop training, imagining an annual exam requiring singing, dancing, and sparkling. While in Switzerland, a tourist asked if the Alps are cleaned weekly by helicopters with giant brushes, thinking scenery needs military housekeeping. Someone traveling through Mexico asked if taco stands close during siesta because the food needs to nap too, believing tortillas require rest cycles. A traveler in Thailand wondered if elephants have special crosswalks, imagining traffic lights designed for massive animals with good etiquette. In Scotland, an American asked if bagpipers clock in for shifts like construction workers, assuming street music is scheduled maintenance. A tourist in Brazil once asked if the Amazon River has boat lanes, convinced rainforest waterways follow traffic laws. An American visiting the Netherlands believed windmills generate all the friendliness, imagining national mood powered by spinning blades. In Greece, one visitor asked if locals still speak ancient Greek on weekends, treating history like a radio station people tune to. A tourist in Turkey asked if all carpets come with flying instructions, confusing folklore with craftsmanship. In New Zealand, someone wondered whether sheep are counted nightly so people can sleep better, imagining livestock as national therapy. A visitor in China asked if the Great Wall is still under warranty, thinking ancient stonework comes with customer support. An American tourist in Kenya asked if lions near safaris wait for feeding hours, imagining posted cafeteria schedules for wildlife. In Germany, someone assumed villages have a professional beer taster by law, picturing an official position like a judge or mayor. A traveler in Ireland asked if rainbows appear more often because the government encourages them for tourism, believing meteorology is marketing. In Peru, a tourist wondered whether Machu Picchu gets packed up during storms, imagining the site folds like a table. An American in Argentina asked if tango is required in gym class, assuming every citizen graduates with dramatic footwork. While in Morocco, someone asked if desert sand is imported for aesthetic reasons, treating landscapes like catalog items. In Sweden, an American believed IKEA is mandatory citizen training, imagining a rite of passage involving Allen wrenches. A traveler in South Africa asked if giraffes need tall passports, picturing long fold-out documents for towering wildlife. In Vietnam, one tourist believed festival lanterns are Wi-Fi boosters, thinking tradition doubles as infrastructure. A visitor in the Philippines asked whether beaches are replaced yearly to stay white, treating nature like home renovation. In Cuba, a traveler insisted classic cars exist because citizens love vintage style, ignoring history and economics. An American in Russia asked if bears are neighborhood pets, imagining shared sidewalks with wildlife. In Finland, a tourist wondered if saunas replace hospitals, assuming steam handles healthcare. Someone in Indonesia asked whether volcanoes are turned off during tourist season, imagining an on-off switch for geology. An American in the UAE thought skyscrapers grow naturally in heat, picturing buildings sprouting like desert plants. A visitor in Norway asked if fjords are carved by giant government machines, believing scenery is manufactured. In Hungary, a tourist asked if paprika is pumped through the air, imagining seasoning distributed through ventilation. An American in Portugal wondered whether locals practice sadness during fado, mistaking emotion for rehearsal. In the Czech Republic, someone asked if castles have keys, picturing medieval padlocks on massive doors. A tourist in Poland asked if pierogi count as vegetables, assuming anything soft and boiled belongs in produce. In Malaysia, an American wondered whether rainforests have address numbers, imagining explorers navigating by mailboxes. A visitor in Singapore asked if chewing gum is banned because the country is allergic, treating national policy as a medical condition.